Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or night, based on when you're watching the video. This is Jacob Payne, me. This is Things You Might Have Heard, this show, and we have for you for this 22nd of August some stories in the queue, 8 of them in particular, from the 21st, that's yesterday, from Wednesday, that you deemed as conversational, worthy of talking about, and this digest meant for the morning, but whenever you get to it, we don't mind, is here for you to get some stories that people are really talking about, not just the main headlines, although, yes, the main headline, DNC Night 3, we're kicking off with that one, but we do have other stories that are floating around that may or may not have been missed in your daily coverage of news. And if you're one of those people who aren't true news nerds that are always searching for things, these are some things that are pretty interesting that you might want to know about that might have got missed in whatever chatter is going on, and you help pick these stories out. We'll explain that process in a bit, but right now reminding you that we are on the web 24/7 at our website. This is theconversationproject.com. You can find more about us, why, where, and how we do things. And, of course, email us as you find convenient at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Talking today about DNC Day 3. Also, some great stuff going on about RFK Jr., maybe some great things, and birthday wishes in the second show coming up as well. So stick around for the full deal. Today, as we said, Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. No particular order as these stories are being presented, but we'll give you some details, some explanations on how the engagement went, and explain that and further at the teaser story part. Story for headline number 1. It is what we're talking about because it's the most important thing going on, even though other things are surrounding it that are kind of important. This picture you're seeing if you're watching the video of the Walz family was the highlight for the night, capping off last night at DNC Day 3, where Walz took the night, taking the nomination as vice president. Also, Bill Clinton took some time out from his busy schedule to chat up Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And the influencers are on the floor saying how they need to step up and step out and vote for Kamala going forward. It was a big night for the convention. Clinton was essentially the biggest speech. That wasn't Tim Walz yesterday. The hosting the night was by Mindy Kaling, and she did a fair job of hosting, if you will. All 3 hosts so far, I guess tonight's Kerry Washington, where Beyonce will probably show up. Probably. Maybe Taylor Swift. Who knows? Maybe Elvis will show up at this point. It's all speculation. But the celebrity hosts have come in, did a couple bops for some transitions here and there going forward, and did some things. Cory Booker seemed to be running the show on the early parts thing. Cory Booker had we kept introducing folks early on while I was watching the early stuff before prime time. So Cory Booker might have some actual juice in this administration. He might be playing up for a role going forward. That being said, Tim Walz gave a great speech last night. I actually realized that the networks aren't pulling away and baking all the local news stations. Just get really pissed off by not going on the air till after midnight. It is what it is. And they had the great speech by him talking about his family, talking about just being just a regular guy, and how he stumbled upon his role in government, stumbled upon his role in leadership. All the stories from the people who did great things, he did great things for along the way, just being a great person. And now, since he's a fairly good guy and he's in a great position to help people, he wants to help people. That's what he's doing with Kamala Harris's help, her being offered the shot as vice president going forward. Tonight is all about Ms. Harris and what she's going to say, leading out her plan for the future, her plan for America. And we're going to see the big contrast, between one and the other, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. We get a chance to contrast and compare Walz versus Vance at this point. And right now, the comparisons of the two conventions have been so stark that the comparisons of the two guys are essentially the same way. One was kind of dour, one was kind of, really kind of saccharine. One was really not exactly, real. This one's been sweet. This one's been happy. This one's been joyous. This one's been full of hope. Hope has been the theme of this one. And we'll see how much hope Kamala Harris can convey in her speech coming up tonight. I said tomorrow, tonight on this Thursday night. Now, second most important story, which attached to the first most important story. It may not seem like it got a lot of love, but this story shifted. It shifted first from the shopping of the vice presidential candidate by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Basically saying they're looking into connecting with folks. A few days ago, they said they were willing to talk to the Harris campaign. Apparently, they don't want to talk to them. So now they're basically going around and where they talk. I saw a clip of them talking on a podcast, like Tom Biu's podcast of all places, about possibly joining forces with Donald Trump. Now we have a press conference scheduled for Friday where the future of the platform for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will happen. He will explain what his future is, and it seems like he's going to give it all in. It seems like thinking about tomorrow is done for the Kennedy campaign, and tomorrow means working somehow for Donald Trump. We know how that works for other folks who have basically pledged to Donald Trump and then found themselves out in the cold pretty quickly because he's Donald Trump. Trump, of course, has to win the contest first so that he can put people in the cold. But what looks like, since as most polls and most pundits have said, the people who are actually still pulling for Kennedy, about 1% or so, not very many, seem to be more on the Trump end. So Trump can use the support of Kennedy more than the Harris team now, formerly the Biden team, because they're actually pulling more Republicans than they're pulling more Democrats. We shall see come Friday. Let's talk weight loss drugs. Technically, let's talk... Well, no, we're talking weight loss drugs, but we're talking weight loss drugs that actually affect other things as opposed to other drugs that affect weight loss. Eli Lilly's weight loss drug has shown promising results in preventing heart attacks and strokes, according to recent studies, this being Zepbound. The drug initially developed for weight loss, like literally this is going to help you lose weight, found great prospects in reducing the risk of cardiovascular events and also in helping to relieve blood sugar and diabetes issues. So this is a conundrum that's gone backwards. I happen to be on Ozempic, and Ozempic was created, basically marketed for what it does internally, helping you with blood sugar and helping you regulate internal things. In the process, it sort of is an appetite suppressor and you lose weight. It happens. This is one that's meant to be an appetite suppressant and help you lose weight. And in the process, it does the same things it does good for diabetes and heart stuff. Will this one be marketed towards more people who need it for the health risks, that being that are, your heart, although part of the reason why your heart gets better is because you lose weight. Obese people have issues with heart issues. That's part of the thing going along with that one. Will this be one that will prove to be a big seller and help alleviate some of the stress off the drugs already on the market? Mounjaro and Ozempic, just two of the ones right there. We shall see going forward. Here's a story, as I say often on this here cast and in various parts where we do the hot takes. I am not a big follower of recent news trends. I'm not a big follower of current hip hop, and I'm lucky because I have a stepson who is now nearing 30. So when he was in his teens, I had a chance to hear that music, which I wasn't that a fan of, but I listened to it because I need to know what he's listening to. My daughter is in a music sort of limbo right now. So she's hitting 13 and she's not really into anything. We just sort of stopped listening to Kids Pop right before the pandemic. And now it's just kind of, just following YouTube influencers. So I have watched a lot of YouTube I don't want to watch. But I don't listen to a lot of music I don't want to listen to because I don't have to. Sidebar real quick. I'm sort of forced to because I do work with a lot of youthful people in college, and basically everything they listen to is dirty, and so we have to kind of fight that issue. Not playing curse words in the cafeteria, not giving a playlist with nothing but explicit lyrics for basketball games, things like that. Here's the story that is behind the story, because I don't know this guy. This is a rapper who's been around for quite some time. NBA Youngboy, never broke again, Youngboy, and he's got some issues. He's had a charge. Real name is Kentrell Gaudet, and he's agreed to plead guilty to federal weapons charge stemming from an arrest in Louisiana a few years back. Case is going to be transferred to Utah. That's where the actual plea will be given. He could face 10 years in prison, long fines, supervised release, all the things that happen with these sort of things. It comes down to a significant mark in YoungBoy Gauden's life and his legal battles, which are basically just coming too much to take on. So at this point, he can't fight it much longer. It's easier to just plea and take the time as opposed to sort of get off the case. I don't know the case because I don't follow the guy. I don't know the guy from anyone else because I don't know his music. I know it's famous. I know it's popular. I know we see it all over the place, but I don't know him. So I can't go deeper into the story. All I know is it seemed like an interesting topic, and this was the topic that was most conversational by you guys yesterday. The most engagement was from this one, so I don't know if, my target demo of, 45 to 55-year-old dudes really are listening to this stuff, or the internet had a magical day and went out to some folks that just saw the feeds and engaged in it. This was the top story of the day, period, by leaps and bounds. Probably one of the top stories of the week once I look at all the numbers for the weekend. So we'll probably be talking some more NBA Youngboy, and I'll probably do some, well, if we're doing it for the weekend, we'll do some more extra research so we can explain the story. But this is a story. You can click the link, go deeper into it if you don't know what's happening. Or if you know what's happening, you can comment with me and tell me exactly why this guy is the phenomena for you folks here in our podcast. This guy's back. The bewildered look of Andrew Tate as police raid his home in Romania with new allegations. These are new allegations involving minors, which is what got in trouble the first time with allegations involving minors. These are brand new things that the folks in Romania are checking out because new dirt. Authorities conducted a raid on Andrew Tate's home in Romania as part of an ongoing investigation into human trafficking and related allegations. The raid, carried out by Romanian anti-organized crime agency, DICOT, we're going to say it's that, we'll see what's that, targeted multiple properties in Bucharest and nearby Ofov County. The investigation has reportedly expanded and include new allegations involving minors. Tate is a controversial internet personality. That's saying a lot in a little bit, facing multiple legal issues, and his latest raid marks significant development in the ongoing probe. Andrew Tate is a red pill, blue pill guy who's out there telling young folks on the internet who are essentially sucking into his vapors that life should be better. You should have all the women you want to, and you should just have all the sex and exploit them for what you need to, because you should be like a pimp, because he's like a pimp and he's all flexed out and he does really crappy videos and really crappy teaching stuff that teaches nothing. But for some reason, we're such deprived in as people right now, and as kids are really kind of sucking this stuff up, they're falling for it. There is an issue with values. There is an issue that conservatives say with the values that we're allowing to be taught, allowing to be sucked in there, and letting kids being raised by the internet, for lack of a better term. The problem is there's a whole lot of stuff on the internet that that's hard to fight. And the people who are fighting the fight saying that there's a problem with the way people are raising kids, there's a problem with the way they want to raise kids by overindulging, not by and there's indoctrination on both sides. We'll put it like that. Andrew Tate is a whole nother story. It's not so much indoctrination. This is just a bad dude. When you get bad vibes from folks and you say, this guy's not good, you should stay away from them. You should explain to people why they should stay away from them. They have to learn, they have to understand. And sometimes they got to touch the hot stove and get real close and realize what's going on. But sometimes they got to touch the hot stove and then turn away. But some of them think they're supposed to touch the stove and stay there because Tate is telling them that. Andrew Tate. You can send your hate whenever you feel like it. We're down for it. You can send your hate for this one as well, because Alex Cooper is actually a pretty controversial figure, but she's about to get paid even more. She's stepping off the podcast circuit, more or less, and going to SiriusXM. Alex Cooper, Call Her Daddy podcast, signs a deal with SiriusXM for $125 million. The host of the podcast, very popular podcast, Call Her Daddy, is moving from Spotify to SiriusXM, where even though my stock is down because I bought stock many, many years ago, she's going to get $125 million, and people will turn to SiriusXM to listen live on the radio. And, of course, she's still on the air podcasting. It's still a podcast sort of thing. A big shift for Cooper, who previously signed for $60 million at Spotify in 2021. So doubling the product in just 3 years, not quite bad for a job if you can get it. Call Her Daddy is known for candid discussions on sexual relationships and has become a cultural phenomenon since its inception back in 2018. New partnership with SiriusXM expected to bring even more attention to Cooper's brand and expand her audience. Are you a fan of Call Her Daddy? Getting her start in the days of the, the blogger spiel type stuff, essentially getting started as a Barstool Sports sort of personality and turning that into something bigger with Spotify and now something even bigger with SiriusXM. My guess is she keeps going. She becomes a larger profile. Maybe she goes into something more of a line of just actual commentary or some sort of sideline thing from here, and they pay her big money there. Although bringing in people to talk these things, these type of issues, these types of air quotes podcasts where, 12 people sit around dressed kind of, like they're going to the club and talk about weird sexual perversion because the kids love it, is what's bringing in eyeballs. That's why the Hawk Tuah girl, which we'll get to in a moment, is still relevant for whatever reason. But Call Her Daddy getting paid. Good luck. Good congratulations to Alex Cooper. No harm, no foul, no shame, no hate. Get that bag while you can. Let's move on to story number 7. Almost at Hawk Tuah girl, but this one is Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin is back in the news as an ex-police officer who's convicted of murdering George Floyd. It's being moved to a new prison after surviving a stabbing attempt. No, it's not so much attempt. He actually got stabbed. The Minnesota police officer who was convicted for murdering George Floyd is being moved to a new prison for his safety. Chauvin was transferred from the Federal Correctional Institution in Tucson to a Federal Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland. This move has made due to safety reasons, although once he gets there, they'll figure out who he is, and he'll probably be in the same situation. High-profile case, high-profile victims. We don't endorse just mass murdering of people who do bad things, because we don't. And so he has a trial he had a trial he went through. He has time to serve, so he needs to have that time to serve. Maybe rehabilitate, maybe repent, maybe just be the same guy coming out. We'll see what's going on. But he has time to serve. You have to protect those guys and let them serve, not just let them go to the wayside, especially the high profiles. That makes your prison look bad for people who run prisons. This one, we'll see what happens when he's tucked into bed in his new place and whether he has the same issues there as he did in Tucson. Oh, yeah. It's Hawk Tuah girl. We are back to Haliey Welch, who is extending her 50 minutes of fame with a new catchphrase to keep things going. So click the link and go deeper into detail on this one. She is trying to go back to, stretch out, you got sometimes got to hawk to that thing and go at it, whatever it is, and just keep on going. Now, she initially just sort of kind of backed away, and then she realized people were making money off her words and her actions and her face. So she went into the scope of being everywhere. She's not doing Playboy. She's not doing OnlyFans. She's not doing any sort of stuff like that. That ain't what's going on. But she's trying to do what she can as the Hawk Tuah thing is losing its traction. Now, it will be a big sort of, laugh track at the end of this year. And, 10 years from now, we'll wonder, hey, Hawk Tuah, what the hell was that thing? In whatever way we're accessing our internet feeds, our brain nets, or whatever, reading memes in our eyeballs or whatever. But check out the link. I'm going to make you do some work on this one. If you did not catch this first time, go see what she's doing to extend what's going on. There was a trademark for a hawk sauce. I'm not sure that one's going to go through. I'm not sure I really want a little bit of that hawk sauce at basing that is about Hawk Tuahing and stuff. I'm not sure I really want a taste of that one. But she's doing what she can to extend her life in the public eye, and we'll see if we're talking about this one a week from now, a month from now, a year from now from now. We are at the spot that we call our teaser section. This is the teaser story for tomorrow, and it's part where we explain the feeds, how we get stories into the conversation, how we get stories into things you might have heard, how you do the bulk of the work to tell us what to talk about. Our teaser story for today, and this is one that people can be conspiracy theorists or people can actually worry about the safety stuff, because there are some real concerns about this. U.S. government report says fluoride at twice the recommended level is linked to lower IQ in kids. So fluoride is in water in most incorporated places because it helps with tooth decay. It helps for health issues. But when not regulated, and as said here, at higher levels, there's a study that says it could be bad for you. There's many studies and people who say fluoride is what's killing us. It's really bad for you. Whatever side of the fence you stand on this one, I need you to check out the story and engage in it so that we can talk about it. And we'll talk about the both sides part when we actually go deeper into the story. And it's simple. You follow us on what we call our feeds. These are stories that we post to our pages on Facebook and Twitter, or X if you're nasty. X.com/th_conversation and Facebook.com/this is a conversation project. What we do is every 50 minutes or so, we post a news headline, an article from various sources, various places that you could love, hate, enjoy, or just sort of want to wrinkle your face up. And you click the little button, the little emoji face on Facebook, or the heart, and that you want to on X to let us know that you're engaging in it. You can share it with folks. You can read it. You can comment to your heart's content so we know exactly what you think about it. And the higher this comment score, the higher the engagement score a story gets, better chance of talking about it. We go through the stories and see which ones get the bigger engagement. Take about the top 15 of them. And even if some are lower 15s, they get consideration. And we see which story we want to put into our 8-story narrative for the day. Monday, it's a 10-story narrative because there's more stories the weekend. Are we talking fluoride in the water tomorrow? You be the judge. We did not talk about the German court that upheld the conviction, the 99-year-old Nazi secretary. It was not engaging enough for you guys, so we were missing that one. But tomorrow you have a chance to vote up this story or any of the 30-plus stories you'll see in your feeds throughout the day. Just go to our feeds. That's the most important thing you do with us, is to go to the feeds and engage in stories. That's how we know what stories are conversational. That's our shtick around here. We also have sponsors. Another important thing you do is visit our sponsors. Our sponsors are all affiliate links, so we get paid when you click on them to pay back to us. In a moment, we'll talk about our hopes to get monetized, but we'll get to that when we get to the next slide, which is about our actual promo of the show and shows and stuff. But here, as we reach into getting very, very close to the start of the college football, which I think is 2 weekends from now, week 0 is this weekend with a game in Ireland or Scotland. It's overseas. It's a big deal happening with a preseason game, or I guess a game that actually counts for those teams. It is early game before the season kicks off in about 2 weeks. And NFL football season kicks off about a week and a half, 2 weeks after that. And so if you're not in the football game, you're not getting Sunday ticket, you're not getting a college football package, you need to go to YouTube TV, because they have all the packages you're looking for all sports you're looking for all news you're looking for, music, entertainment, all the things you look for. The premium channels are linked into YouTube TV, so one app, so you can watch all your favorite things, and you get 6 DVRs for the family, and you get $45 off, $10 off your first 3 months, and $15 extra off for using our affiliate link. Check it out at this. It's theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This. It's theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV, and get in on YouTube TV. Tongue twister at the end of it. It's time for you to step away. I don't know what cable companies really exist anymore other than to provide internet, which if you got internet, you don't need the cable. You can get yourself taken care of for free. Watch it on any device you want to, anywhere you want to. 6 DVRs, unlimited DVR. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread, pants on pockets, and this is the Conversation Project. That last one may be debatable, but check it out today. Use our link and get us paid as well. We'll get a small commission from you getting this, and we're giving you $15 extra off, so give us the commission. We're worth it. This is theconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is the part where we talk about us. The Conversation Project lives online at this. It's conversationproject.com, our home on the web, where you can find us doing lots of things. You can find us, information about us, and you can find links to all the places that we are there. We're in audio form in various podcast places, so check out the podcast you're liking. We're in just verbal form, that's just words. By signing up for our newsletter, you can do that simply there and get the words to yourself about 6:20, 6:25 every morning. Pretty much as we publish this thing to go live, you get the newsletter coming out. We finish that up. Video sources include YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and more. That was extremely rude. Sorry for anybody on the audio for that one. If it's live to tape, we don't have time to cut it up because we're in a rush this morning. This is the part where we ask you for your help. We ask you to follow the feeds. We ask you to email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. We give you the reminder of sponsors and the partners page, both at our website. You can become a partner and directly fund what goes along around here. On Fridays and Saturdays, we shout out the partners. You can also do one-time donations and just go to a sponsor, buy something from them, and we get a small commission. It costs you nothing extra. We are literally under 20 watch hours. I know it's getting really painful. I know I keep saying this, and it's like watching it go deep by deep by deep. When you produce one 30-minute thing a day, and then you produce a bunch of 2-minute clips all day long, it takes a while to catch up, and we're only at 1,300 subscribers, so it's not like we're getting mass adoption of stuff going on. We're a small channel. We're doing small things, and some things we're doing, hitting these milestones will help us get larger and do the greater expansion of what's going on to what's happening. More Better Media, my larger umbrella company, does a lot of different media stuff, and we do a lot of things for a lot of different people, but the focus on one thing, to the focus on this one right here, will require a whole lot of effort, a whole lot of extra influx of cash, to be honest, because doing the news stuff, if you watch the conventions all week, it's a big project, big process, and a lot of funds going into keeping these things going. Newsrooms on smaller ends are falling all over the place. In some cases, they're being overtaken. In some cases, they're lucky enough by some consortiums or some groups that are educational sources that get to sort of teach the news the way it should be taught. But those news sources aren't getting mass adoption. They're not the Fox Newses and the MSNBCs or the Newsmaxes or the News Nations or the CNN. CNN may be losing viewers, but it's still CNN. We're not CNN. We're not the main source. We're a supplemental source. We use some of their news. We use other people's news. And we want you to go back to them for the big stuff. We want to make sure you're getting a big dose, a greater dose of what's going on in the world of news, not just what's being sucked to you, what's being forced to you by the mainstream media themselves, although we use mainstream media for our sources. But now it's being overdone like the convention. It's all convention talk all morning, all for all the big channels. They aren't talking about J-Lo and Bennifer. They're not doing that. And we are. So if you want to get more ingrained with us, go to YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. We need more people subscribing there. Watch us a bunch of times. We know we're a couple days late, so we think we actually hit that 3,000 watch hours. But because we've been pumping a lot of stuff in the last couple days, we'll find out in a few days whether we hit it, we miss it. We're about to hit a big patch of openness in watches because we had a big move and couldn't produce for about a month. So hopefully we don't have to wait through 2 months to get through those patches and see the growth we could have. But we want you here. Follow us on our feeds. Check out our website and see if there's places you can see us. Follow us on YouTube and watch us a few times and help us get over that hump. Once we hit that 3,000 and we see whether we're going to get that monetization or not, we'll stop complaining about that one. Then we'll talk about watching us because we want you to watch us again. We went long. It was, that might have been a bit more of a painful version, but we are really in need. And so I'm going to get that out there. It's been a long slog. And this program is one of the fewest things that's basically keep me upright and keep me sitting up and not curled up in a ball under this desk with all the things that are going on, including all the news craziness going on. But we've done that part. We went long in the promotion part. We got you the news part, which didn't go so long. We did some sales. We tried to promote ourselves and our feeds. It's time for some fun stuff. And fun stuff today starts off with birthdays. And we're starting off the Thursday, August 22nd edition of Things You Might Ought to Know for this 2024 with birthday wishes for Miss Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig is turning 51 today. Also birthday wishes to Giada De Laurentiis, who I always butcher. You know, that really skinny lady with a big old smile that's on TV cooking stuff. She's 54 years old on the day. Dua Lipa, who I have heard some of her music, but I could barely pick it out of a lineup. She did that thing with Elton John that was kind of panned because it was just remixing the song. She is 29 years old today, ruling the world as one of those young musicians do. Let's go to history lessons because I am history. History lessons for this day, starting off in 1902. President Theodore Roosevelt became the first U.S. chief executive, that's president, to ride in an automobile in Hartford, Connecticut. In 2003, another chief, Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore, was suspended for his refusal to obey federal court order to remove Ten Commandments document from the rotunda of his courthouse. Now, Alabama, I believe, is one of the states that is now allowing, or actually, I'm going to say it this way, forcing the teaching of the Ten Commandments in actual public schools. Louisiana is one of the big ones. I think there's some schools out west. I think Alabama's one. They hadn't figured out yet. They're going to figure it out pretty soon. And heroes, also in 2023, sometimes they do wear capes and jumpsuits and do some weird, cool karate stuff. Because in 2003, Oslo, Norway, an Elvis impersonator set a world record by singing the King's hits nonstop. And this is from my lovely mother-in-law, Sharon. 26 hours, 4 minutes, and 40 seconds of nothing but Elvis nonstop. Now, when they do these things, I think there are rules where they get like breaks for bathroom breaks and then to get some hydration breaks and then get some whatever. They get official small breaks going forward. So it wasn't probably not, he probably did not pee for 26 hours or eat for 26 hours. If he was, then more power to this guy. But 26 hours of the King over and over again in Oslo. Some heroes wear capes and jumpsuits and puffy hair. Let's move on to our word of the day. Learning something nice today. Learning something big today. This is a word that you may have heard from watching your favorite animated show like Family Guy, because there's a guy named Quagmire. But what is a quagmire? A quagmire, in slang terms, is something that's usually not very good, but it's actually, by definition, a soft, wet area of low-lying land that sinks underfoot. It's swampland, essentially. Used in a sentence, the construction project was delayed when workers discovered a quagmire on the site where the foundation had been laid. Sounds like a bad place to put a building on top of a quagmire. Your word for the day. More about words for the day at thebigwordsproject.com, and look for a copy of our book, the latest edition, volume 2 of Big Words You Ought to Know. That's on sale on the Amazon right now. Buy volume 1 as well while you're there. Volume 3 coming out pretty soon. So get your vocab words on, take them along with you, and get yourself some learn on. Let's learn how to feel better about ourselves with this affirmation for today. Today, I am grateful for my healthy body and mind. This is something that I need to say a lot for myself, because at this point, I am healthy in body and mind, mostly, but at some points in times, it's been very dour. So this one obviously promotes positive thinking. Expressing gratitude for your healthy body and mind reinforces positive thinking, helping to shift focus from what you lack to what you possess, enhancing overall well-being and contentment. In the mind section, it's not been such a great time of mine the last couple months. Years, of course, have been sort of dour and whatnot, but it's been sort of kind of darker days in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, going through some things, and essentially the transition back into getting us back into the house. If you're a partner, you know the full story. If not, we'll just ask me a question in email. We'll reply back with some of the details of that one. And body, that's sort of the same sort of spin is there as well, where I have spent a good part of my adult years not taking good care of myself and not caring as much, part of the mind thing. Right now, body is doing fairly well. Mind is fairly well. We're coherent. We're on the upright. We're not stressing out too much, a lot, not too much. And so I'm just have to say this to myself to my own positive thinking. I am grateful for my healthy body and mind, because in times when my mind and body were not so healthy, I felt the effects. And finally, celebrate Eat a Peach Day. National Eat a Peach Day celebrates the enjoyment of peaches, a fruit for which China is the top producer globally. Didn't know that. Peaches are not only delicious, but also packed with healthy benefits. Didn't know that. They help reduce bloating, manage blood pressure, and support brain health. Additionally, peaches aid in weight management, lower cancer risk, protecting vision, improving skin health, boosting immune systems, and promote good digestion. So indulging in a peach is both tasty and healthful choices. In the words of the President of the United States, the band, not the actual presidents who were talking this week, millions of peaches, peaches for me, millions of peaches, peaches for free. Look out. That's it. We did it. It's been done. Thursday, August 22nd edition of 2024 edition of Things You Might Have Heard for today. Now wrapped up. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, part of the family, part of what's going on. It's wonderful that you as news nerds are following along and helping me get things done here. And you who just sort of stumble upon this every so often, you don't have to be totally suckered into all the news stories you do, but we thank you for engaging the ones that you do, because it tells us which ones are conversation of people who are just sort of on the fringes of paying attention to news, not, of course, people who are always scrolling their phone all day looking for doom and gloom going forward, because that's kind of me. It's kind of my job for this, but that's why I do it, so I can make it worthy of something, because otherwise I'd be doing it just because it drives me crazy. Thank you for being a part of everything we do. Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and X. Email us at the conversation inbox, gmail.com, to let us know what's going on. Find our website and visit the sponsors page or the partners page, or just visit some past episodes and see how we do this. See how we've grown in the past 8 years or so of doing something like this. Last 3 or 4 or so years of doing this more or less in this format, although the format and things have changed going forward. We're not doing the song lyrics. I love the song lyrics, but they got a little weird. They did. They did. Make sure you are taking care of your friends and your family, because they need you to do that as well. Life is good. Life is great. Life is awesome, even if it doesn't feel like your life's doing so great right now. So remember that. And also remember that I love you. I do love and truly cherish each and every one of you. Make sure you're with us tomorrow for another edition of this thing, for the Friday edition, wrapping up this week. We are blasting through August, blasting this week officially. We'll talk up some Kamala Harris speech. We're going to do that. That's definitely happening tomorrow. So we'll see you come Friday.